Greetings everyone, this is Alt Lexington on Tuesday the 3rd of September 2019, almost midday. And look at what we've got today. It's a Romulan Warbird. I'm in the Dyson Sphere, the Solanae Dyson Sphere, Allied space. And what's different is that this character is my main character, Alt Lexington. He's an engineer and he's a Starfleet engineer. He's not a member of the Romulan Republic. But he's still able to fly a Romulan Warbird. Why? Because that's a thing now. Romulan ships are now flyable by non-Romulan faction characters. And that's why I decided to show off my Romulan Warbird. This is a ship I've only just acquired on this character. I had one on a tactical Romulan for a long time, but I've only just acquired him on my Federation faction character. Just acquired this ship, and I've mastered it up and played it a little bit the last few days. And I've been enjoying the heck out of it. It's not a full-on powerful build, because I knew the Romulan Warbird isn't ideal for a DPS build. And since I don't do that kind of build much anymore, I just play for the fun now. I figured I'd make it a little Starfleet theme-ish, if that's the right word. So let's have a look at the build. So since it's on a Starfleet faction character, I've decided to call it the USS, not the RW, Appropriated. It's as if Starfleet has said to the Romulans, if you want us to put up with the Klingons and be another ally of yours, you're going to have to let us use your Warbird whether you like it or not. So it's an appropriated ship. I've gone with a phaser build since it's a Starfleet Warbird. And I went a little more fun with this. I went for the Quantum Phase weapon set, which consists of 3 pieces. It's a beam array. The good about the Quantum Phase set is it allows you to drain your enemy's shields a bit easier. And it pairs with a torpedo that does the same. It can drain shields as well. And the 2 pieces are enhanced by the console, which enhances all phasers. Gives you it's like having another vulnerability locator on your ship. To have all 3 pieces of the Quantum Phase weapon set. And if we look at more details, you can see that the console will boost the phasers, all phasers. But if it's paired with another piece like the torpedo or the phaser, you get more accuracy. And the shield drain that comes from this set is doubled, so you can drain enemy shields much easier. Now it says it doubles the potency of Quantum Phase high yield torpedo, but for some reason I put on torpedo spread instead of high yield. Because I wanted to stick with the fire at will theme, I've gone with this. Because everybody's doing beam overload and high yield torpedo since the beam overload was updated. A lot of people have gone to choose the single target build, but I wanted this to be a multi-target build because I've done the single target build a lot recently. So I went with fire at will and torpedo spread, so I didn't take advantage of the high yield that 2 pieces of the Quantum Phase weapon set gives. But I still get the doubled shield drain. And for having all 3 pieces of the set, I also get quantum destabilizing beam. And that is powerful. It's a powerful shield drain. It's similar to tachyon beam, except it looks a lot better. And it really does nuke down a shield facing when you fire it. It's here on my toolbar. Down here it's greyed out at the moment because I can't use it unless I'm in combat. We'll close that and see if the pop-up comes up. Yep, there it is. This is what you get for... It's like an extra weapon on your ship. It's what you get for having all 3 pieces of the quantum phase weapon set. The only problem with it is its cooldown. You'll probably only get to fire it once every 5 minutes, I believe it is. But it lasts for 10 seconds and it does nuke a shield facing on a big target. It completely drains that shield. It's good to use it on the infected space gateway or on a big boss character. So this quantum phase weapon set is it's also free. It's a damn good set, but it's also free. It comes from a mission reward. Now I've got to try and remember which mission reward it comes from. I believe it's one of these.
With the war over, it's time for us to rebuild.
Yep, there it is. Shut up, Admiral Quinn.
Return to our roots as explorers. We've recently noticed that a star in an unexplored system near Ferengi...
Let's wait for him to finish talking so I can...
There's nothing to indicate any change to its stellar life cycle, so this is a perfect opportunity for us to chart the system.
Come on, Admiral Quinn, hurry up.
And improve our understanding of what's happening. I want you to head up this investigation.
We're not going to do this episode.
Find out why this star is suddenly dying, and make sure it isn't going to be a threat to any nearby worlds or systems.
So this weapon set, it comes free from the episode Sunrise, which is the first episode in the future-proof story arc. If you want all the pieces of the set, you have to play it 3 times to get a complete set, because it's a 3-piece set, and one of the pieces is a choice between either a beam array or a dual heavy cannon. So if you've got a cannon build, this set is good for that as well. But I'm not using the cannon on this ship, although I could. You can use both the beam and the cannon at the same time, if you wanted to. So it's a 3-piece set, and one of the pieces is either an optional beam or cannon. However, you can use all 4 if you want. So that's the good about that bit. Now, if we leave that window open for a moment and go back to this build window, you can see that I've also got the quantum phase deflector array, quantum phase impulse engine, and quantum phase shield. That's another 3-piece set. This is the 3-piece quantum phase space set. So we've got the weapon set and the space set. The reason I've gone with all 3 pieces of this set, let me try and remember. The deflector's not a bad deflector. It increases your survivability, but it also helps with draining enemies. The engines, they give you a bonus to flight speed, which is what and turn rate, which is what you sorely need on a Romulan Warbird. And the shield's just a pretty good shield. That is also both of these sets are all about draining enemy shields. And I don't know why it keeps saying unsaved changes whenever even though I've saved my loadout. Now if we click on more details for this nice draining set, you can see with 2 pieces, shield frequency cycling, which increases my maximum shield capacity, which is good, because the more shield capacity, the longer it takes for an enemy to nuke them down, or the stronger weapons they will need. And with all 3 pieces, energy weapon entanglement. Now this is fun. When you fire an energy weapon, for 12 seconds, it triggers a quantum entanglement between yourself and the foe you're firing at, which steals some of their weapon energy and adds it to your weapon energy. So whatever they shoot you with, you can shoot them, you can throw back at them. So if they're shooting you, you can throw back 8.2% of what they're shooting at you. Right back at them. And that is a clicky, which is here. Let me just shut that down so I can show you the clicky. So some of what the enemy is firing at me, I can throw instantly back at them. Now, the thing about the quantum phase weapon set and space set is it affects all the weapons on your ship, especially the phasers if you're going with phasers. Which is what I've done here. I've got... Oh, one more thing about this space set is it's also a mission reward. It's free. It's from the 2nd episode from the Future Proof story arc called Stormbound. This time I'll talk over Admiral Quinn, and you can see if you play it 3 times you'll get the full set. So these 2 episodes, you just play them both 3 times each, and you'll have both of these sets. And because they're good at boosting phasers, they're drain sets, but they're also good at boosting phasers. I've gone with phasers. I've gone with covert phaser beam arrays. I haven't remodded them or anything. I've just I'm still in the process of upgrading them. As you can see, I've got 2 that aren't upgraded here. These covert phaser arrays, they come from the Section 31 lockbox, I believe, but you can also buy them on the exchange, and they are really good weapons because they I believe they add turn rate to your ship. Let me just open up my inventory, take one off so I can see what it does. It reduces threat, so however threatening your weapons are to the enemy, using these weapons will not be as threatening, but just as powerful. Plus they have a 2.5% chance of giving you extra turn rate and flight speed, which is sorely needed on a Romulan Warbird, because it's a big, slow, lumbering ship and you need speed and turn rate boosted a bit on it in order to keep up with teammates and things. But as you can see, I've got 2 on the front. I've got 3 of these on the back, but 2 of them haven't been fully upgraded yet. And I got very lucky. I managed to get hold of the omnidirectional version of this beam as well. That was very lucky. One of my fleet mates put one in my fleet bank, and I was able to snap it up and upgrade it. I did put something else in the fleet bank of equivalent value to compensate the fleet for taking that, but that's one of the perks of being a fleet leader. You have to put in dilithium into projects all the time, so you got to take your perks. And it's always nice to put something else into the bank that's equivalent. I can't remember what I put in because it's been a while. Anyway, it's nice to have this Omni on the back as well. I could have gone with a bit more powerful, but I wanted to stick with my covert phaser, quantum phase sort of theme. I could have gone more powerful with this build, but I didn't really feel the need to. It was good enough as it is. And as you can see, my Quantum Face base set isn't quite fully upgraded. It still needs another mark. I'm waiting till I get some dilithium for that. Same with these. I'm upgrading them the slow way because I love these weapons. So they've got to be upgraded, but I've got so much I'm upgrading at the moment. You need a singularity core, even though you're a Fed character. Even though you're a Starfleet character, you still need a singularity core to fly a Romulan ship. And because I'd never flown Romulan ships on my Starfleet characters before, I never bothered to upgrade any of the singularity cores that my Starfleet character acquired. So I'm still got to upgrade this core. It's the Iconian resistance core, and the only reason I chose it was basically because of lack of options on a Starfleet character, and it's a good core. So you won't be able to fit a warp core onto this build, so that renders a few of the sets unusable, but not all of them. Most of them do have an option between a warp core and a singularity core. But this comes from the Iconian reputation. And it's on its own. I haven't put it with any of its set pieces. The benefit of using this core is it gives you resistance to your subsystems going offline. I think it's got a hot restart, so if one of your subsystems is knocked offline, one of these 4 subsystems here, weapons, shields, engines, and auxiliary, I think it might restart them pretty well, so they won't be offline for as long. It's like a hot restart, I believe it is. Let me see, I can't see it written there, I might be mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. It increases my singularity charge rate. Now that's interesting because that's for these things. It increases the rate that these charge up, so you can use them more often. We'll get to them. This is a Warbird, so we'll get to them. I put on conductive RCS. This comes from the engineering R&D school. It's a crafted console. Now, back in the day, everybody wanted this console with the EPS mod so they could get extra power transfer rate. That's not really an issue these days, so the EPS mod isn't really why I put this console on. I put it on for its additional shielding, but mostly for its flight turn rate. 45% flight turn rate, which is sorely needed on a Warbird, as I keep saying. But it's also good for a bit of good extra shielding. And it's excellent for power transfer rate, but I don't need it, because power transfer rate isn't such an issue these days when you've got a gold build. We've got bioneural infusion circuits for the critical severity mostly, but it also gives you some control resistance and a nicer few hit points. And we've got tachyokinetic converter. That also gives you some control resistance and critical severity and critical chance, but mostly I've got it for the flight turn rate. This tachyokinetic converter and bioneural, they both come from the Lobby store, so they might be a bit difficult to get. They're 200 crystals each unless there's a sale on when they're cheaper. And I haven't got them with any of their set, because you don't need them. They're great standalone consoles. This console, as I've said before, it's part of the weapon set, the quantum phase weapon set that boosts your drain and boosts phasers in general. It's good to have if you've got any phaser build. Whether you're using the quantum phase set or not, this is still a good console to have to boost any phaser build. I've got polaric modulator for the flight speed and turn rate again, because this is a big lumbering ship. This comes from a mission reward, an episode. I believe it's called Delta Flight with Tom Paris and his daughter, where you're fighting Iconians. Let's have a look for that episode. It might be in the Iconian War somewhere. There it is, Delta Flight.
Captain Tom Paris has requested your ship for a joint mission with his task force.
Polaric modulator.
We're not making much headway against.
So Delta Flight would be from the Iconian, the third episode in the Iconian War story arc if you're a Starfleet character like me. But I'm sure you'll find it somewhere in the Iconian story arc on any character. This, I found that my even with all this drain, my shields still needed a bit more. So I put on a restorative particle focuser with modded for drain X twice. So it's 2 times drain X, which will help my shields, prevent them from being drained, and help my weapons drain enemy shields better. So even with these drain sets, I still needed more drain. This console comes from your fleet's Delta Research Lab. If I click on my fleet window, go to holdings, go to research lab, this place in the Delta Quadrant, you have to visit there to get this restorative consoles. I've also put on dynamic power redistribution module. It's like having a piece of armor on your ship because it gives you plus 11.3 all damage resistance rating. But more importantly, it gives you 15.3 directed energy damage, and that works for any energy weapon. Plus it comes with a clicky dynamic power redistributor, which increases your weapon damage a heck of a lot more. And your damage resistance as well, plus your survivability. That's the clicky down here. Plus 40% weapon damage. Wow! As long as your hull is above 80%. I think it increases as your hull decreases. But don't quote me on that. Plus you get a lot of damage resistance, so your hull's not likely to decrease. And you get a lot of hull healing. I've also got it with another console from the same set, the Synergistic Retrofitting set. This gives projectile damage for my quantum phase torpedo and a small bit of critical chance, but that's not why I've got it on. It also gives you a clicky, a point defense bombardment warhead, which is this clicky. And what this does is it fires a kind of torpedo at your enemy that flies slowly towards your enemy and shoots at your enemy. And when it gets close enough, it will also detonate, creating a massive explosion right next to your enemy. It doesn't usually make it all the way to the enemy because the enemy usually shoot it down. But it's still a good looking thing to have on your ship. It's not too powerful, but it looks awesome. It puts out a massive explosion effect. But the reason I've got these 2 pieces on mostly, well, dynamic speaks for itself why I've got that on. This I haven't got on for its point defense warhead or its projectile damage. I've got it on because it pairs with this console. So if I click on the 2-piece to show what the 2-piece does, you get 33% phaser damage for your directed energy weapons. It also works with Disruptor and Plasma, but I didn't want to go with Plasma because that's Romulan faction and I'm Starfleet faction. And Disruptor, that's Klingon. I wanted to go with Phaser because I'm Starfleet using a Warbird. So I retrofitted it for the Starfleet shipyards or whatever. It's my roleplay of it. Anyway, 33%, that's like having another vulnerability locator on your ship. So that's like... So the 2-piece bonus from these, with the bonus from this, is like having 2 extra locators on your ship. However, you don't get so much critical chance from them. The dynamic power redistribution comes from the prototype Dreadnought, which I believe was in the undiscovered lockbox. It's quite hard to get if you can't get it from the lockbox. And this one comes from Captain Archer's NX class Enterprise, which is a Lobby-Store ship. I've also put on some vulnerability locators with modded for phaser damage. So these increase my phaser damage by... Each one adds 39.4% phaser damage. So that's times that by 3, 1 for each. Plus I get 1.7% critical chance. Now these are percentages, not points. So they're a lot more than they look. So let's have a look at my stats. And I'm sitting here in allied space of the sphere, and looking at my stats, they look a little rubbishy resistances and not very good shielding. I swear my shields were better than that, but that might be because I'm in an atmosphere at the moment. My resistances are low for a reason, I'll get to that. And my hull looks a little lower than it normally would. I think this is a result of being in Dyson Sphere atmosphere. Some of this. Anyway, as you can see, I've got adequate critical chance and critical severity. The flight speed and turn rate is normally a bit higher than this, but that's because I'm in atmosphere again. And if we look at the important ones here, I haven't got much control resistance, which is why I've put on polarized hull to help me keep maneuvering while I'm caught in a tractor beam. And even with all this drain, these 2 drain sets and the restorative console, my drain isn't great. The Warbird does have a bit of trouble competing with current released ships, tier 6 ships, because it's an older ship. It was one of the first tier 6 ships, I believe. So it has trouble competing with the latest ships that are released. But it's still a nice ship to fly. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's better than tier 5. And if we look at the visuals, you can see I've got the Delta reputation... No, sorry, the temporal reputation visuals, because the shield just makes my ship look nice and almost white. I wanted a white looking Warbird rather than a green one. I wanted to brighten it up a bit and make it a bit more happy looking. A bit more cream puff, jolly, happy, upbeat Starfleet rather than angry, sneaky Romulan. Now, my skill tree, same as always, tactical ultimate with a bit of engineering thrown in. The only science I have is for targeting. And for my specializations, I've gone with strategist as secondary, so I can have diversionary tactics in case I get into serious trouble, which I will do. This will tell the enemies that I'm not a threat. So when I'm shooting at them and they're shooting at me, I can tell them, oh, I'm not a threat, by clicking that, and they'll start shooting someone else. Which gives me a moment to heal up. I've also gone with command as primary, mostly because this is a command cruiser. It's got a command specialist seating on it, which makes it a command cruiser in my eyes. And command gives me this clicky, boost morale. And basically, if an enemy sub-nukes you, uses sub-nucleonic beam on you, or whatever it's called, the science ability, you can, it will confuse your sensors, so you won't be able to see the enemy that used it on you. Like the Hirogen are good at that. They hit you with something and then they disappear and you think they're cloaked when they're not. They're just confusing your sensors. They've sub-nuked you. And you usually have to hit science team to clear up your sensors and be able to see them again. But if you haven't got science team available because you've been healing your shields, you can use boost morale to do it instead, because that works. That counters the debuff that's been put on you, just as well as science team does. So command is quite useful actually, especially when facing Hirogen. Now if we go with traits, you can see that I've got beam training, beam barrage, which comes from leveling your beam R&D school up to level 15, and the same from the torpedo school for kinetic precision. I didn't put on the other torpedo one. Where is it? Torpedo training. Because I've only got one torpedo and I'm not really about torpedo damage on this ship, and I wanted to have extra slots left over for other traits. Anchored. I put that onto this ship because this is a command ship, and I've gone with the command sort of theme as well as the phaser theme, and because it's a big lumbering slow ship, sometimes it's good to just stop right next to a mob of enemies and start shooting away, and anchored because you haven't got the turn rate to chase them around. And when you're anchored, when you are using anchored trait, when you're stopped, it will increase your weapons. Down here you can see I've got 4 stacks of anchored on there, which boosts my weapon damage when stationary, when I'm not moving. So the phaser damage you see coming off of this weapon, which is 1633, that wouldn't be as high if I didn't have anchored, if I wasn't stationary. If I was flying around, that wouldn't be as high. Another reason I put anchored on was because this is a command cruiser, and to go with the command theme, in my duty officer stations I've also used rally point marker on the command station. We'll get to that, but it's down here and we'll get to it. That's another reason why I put it on there, and I'll explain it in a minute. However, what the downside of using anchored is it lowers your starship's resistances. So if we go back to my stats, you'll see that these are at 25, these resistances, which is quite low. Even with the sort of armor that Dynamic gives you, they're still quite low. And that's because anchored is doing that. It reduces your it gives you extra firepower, but it comes at the cost of resistances. It lowers your resistances. So I don't often remain stationary on this ship, even though I do get a boost from going stationary. It's getting complicated now. Now this is a good ability, Nadion Bypass, for any engineer. It gives you extra weapons whenever you click this clicky, this engineering ability, Nadion Inversion. I've got Grace Under Fire to reduce the cooldown on my miraculous repairs. I've got Elusive because I need a little extra defense, especially if I was standing still. Helmsman because, well, big slumbering slow ship, so you need turn rate. And minus threat generation mostly, although it does give you some severity. For starship traits, emergency weapon cycle, which will speed up my weapons firing rate. Invincible because if I'm using my anchored trait while under rally point marker, I'm basically a big target on the battlefield, which is why I need threat reduction. And Invincible, if I get into serious trouble, Invincible can save my butt by making me unkillable when my hull and shields go down to basically nothing. I'll be unkillable for about 8 seconds, which will give me 8 seconds to hit a heal or well, any heal. And 8 seconds is a long time to hit a heal because it means you can wait for them to come out of cooldown. Emergency weapon cycle comes from the Arbiter battlecruiser in this Zen store, I believe, and Invincible comes from it's a Lobby store ship. I can't remember the name of it right now. Oh, what is the name of that ship? It's from the TV show. It comes from an episode called Year of Hell, Voyager episode. I can't remember the name of the ship. My memory's terrible now. But it's a Lobby store ship it comes from. Supremacy comes from another Lobby store ship, a Bardwire ship. Supremacy gives me additional power when I'm using fire at will or scatter volley, which I'm using fire at will on this ship. Supercharged weapons, every time I fire a torpedo, my energy weapons get enhanced. This comes from one of the command ships, the Odyssey ships, I believe, from the Zen store. And this one, redirecting arrays, comes from one of the Miracle Worker ships in the Zen store. And it extends the duration of fire at will. So you'll be firing at multiple targets more for longer. Space reputation, we've got critical severity, critical chance, hull penetration, more hull penetration, and more flight speed and turn rate, which is what you need on this ship. And for active reputation, I've just gone with all the space ones. Quantum singularity for the poor man's cloak, a nice decoy, the big anti-time bubble, which has become quite powerful these days, but you can only use it once in a blue moon, so you save it for the boss target. The big green healing bubble that goes around your ship, and any ally that enters that bubble will also be healed. And the Tetrion discharge that chains to 3 or 4 targets. Well, it says it chains to 3 targets. You hit your primary target with it and it will bounce off, it will hurt your primary target and bounce off them onto 2 other targets. Like a lightning strike bouncing from target to target. Now if we go to my duty officer, my bridge officers, my BOFs, I've got 3 Romulan operatives on here. So if we look at one of them, where is he? Where is he? Sulu. And we go to his traits. He's got 2% critical chance and 5% critical severity, plus 15% power recharge for cloaking, which is useful on this ship for a change, since I'm using a cloak. And I've got 3 guys with that trait, superior Romulan operative. This one is a command station, so I put one in a universal station, and so hang on, let me get my facts straight. Yeah, I've got 2 tactical officers that are both Romulan operatives, and I've got a universal station where I put a 3rd tactical officer, Romulan operative. I've got tactical team to keep my best shields between me and my target. Attack pattern beta to debuff my target. Chemosite to add radiation damage to my weapons. Fire at will, of course, and torpedo spread, of course, because it's a multiple target build. And because this is a command station, I put on rally point marker. I could have gone with overwhelm emitters, but that boosts allies. I don't think it boosts oneself. I think it just boosts your allies. And rally point marker does that anyway. What rally point marker does is it puts out a kind of hexagon shape from your ship, which creates a kind of boxing ring that you can sit within, stationary, and it will heal you, but it will also boost your weapons. And since I've got anchored trait on as well, that's also boosting my weapons while I'm sitting stationary within the rally point marker. So I've got a sort of double boost going on my weapons whenever I'm in rally point marker. And because anchored trait is reducing my resistances, rally point marker will help me survive, along with invincible trait. My god, this is getting complicated. For my engineer, I've gone with a Nautican, as usual. Where is he? There he is. And he's got a space trait, Pirate, for bonus all damage. I've gone with engineering team to heal my hull, reverse shield polarity to make the enemy weapons recharge my shields, so I don't have to use emergency power to shields, because that would share a cooldown with this emergency power to weapons, which will keep my weapons strong. And directed energy remodulation to help my energy weapons penetrate shields and armor. But it also works with a duty officer to save weapon power, to make my weapons more efficient when they're using up power, so they use less power and still remain strong. Polarized hull. This is my science officer. He's a hierarchy officer, which comes with 2 traits. One for power levels, which isn't really necessary, and one for bonus damage, just like the Nautican. Just like my engineer. Now, normally I have science team here, but I've put polarized hull here because I didn't have polarized hull free. so I put on Science Team 3 to help with my shields. Normally I'd have Science Team here and Polarized Hull. Normally I'd have Science Team and Polarized Hull the other way around, but I neglected to train this officer up in Polarized Hull 3. And also there's a benefit from having Science Team 3 because it's a little bit more of a shield heal. And you only really need Polarized Hull 1 to help you with tractor when you're caught in tractor beams, to help you keep moving. And Hazard Emitters is a hull heal. I hope I'm explaining this right. It's getting a bit complicated to do this from memory. Now with duty officers, of course I've got my ground officer who's supposed to work in space. I don't know whether he actually does or not, but it's good to have him on just in case he does. And then for my active space officers, I've got critical chance, critical severity. I believe these two come from the Delta Reinforcements Duty Officer pack in the Zen store. This officer works with directed energy modulation to make your weapons more energy efficient, so you'll get more shots from the amount of energy you have. 2 damage control engineers to reduce the cooldown on emergency powder weapons. And this is the odder choice. Adds hull restoration from rally point marker and needs of the many. Well, if I'm using rally point marker, which I am on this ship, this will improve rally point marker to give me more hull heals, more ability to will make my hull heals a bit stronger. So theoretically I can go into battle, stop right next to a group of enemies, put out a rally point marker. Now the enemies will target me a lot more because I'm just stationary in front of them, but my weapons will get stronger thanks to anchored and rally point marker. Plus rally point, but anchored will come at a cost of reducing my resistances, but rally point marker will help me survive, even though my resistances are going down while stationary. And this officer will increase my hull restoration as well. So although I'm anchored and very vulnerable, I should be able to survive anyway. Now, having said all that about rally point marker and anchored and invincible working together with that officer, I very rarely stop and use the anchored and rally point marker, because where's the fun in stopping? You want to run around and chase your enemies, and I've added a lot of flight speed and turn rate to this ship so that I can do that. So I've got a choice between either running around and chasing enemies or becoming anchored, and I generally choose the running around chasing enemies option rather than anchoring in a rally point marker. Anyway, today I thought, now that I've sort of piss poorly explained the build, I figured I'd show off this ship doing my daily endeavours. I mean, I've got 3 endeavours here, and they look like pretty good ones that can show off this ship a bit. I haven't put any points into my endeavour system, because I've been saving up. I've got 136 points, but I haven't spent any of them yet. So this ship isn't boosted by endeavours. I just collect the points for now, and I'll spend them one day when I've got a whole bunch of them. The reason I'm saving them is because I didn't want to power creep a little bit each day. I wanted to wait until I can do a massive jump in power if the game will allow that. But the endeavours I'm going to be doing today, because they've come up pretty good, I can destroy some Undyne ships in the battle zone, only 5 of them. That's pretty quick and simple. I can just get that done quickly, especially in this ship. Repair hull to yourself or allies while in space combat. Well, a good idea for repairing hull is to remove your shield. If you find that your shielding is too strong on your ship, you just take off your shield, put it in your inventory for a bit, and that will let the enemy weapons go straight onto your hull. But generally I find this ship, I don't need to remove the shields to get hull damage, especially if I got anchored. And complete some Iconian TFOs, 3 of them. So you might see me do a ground mission if they're still in cooldown. If the space ones are in cooldown, I might end up doing bug hunt as well. And I'm not as good on ground as I am in space, and I'm not great in space, so don't expect miracles. See, it says unsaved changes even though you saw me save them. And I've noticed a little bug with these icons, 700-day veteran and the command icon from the command specialist. They keep flipping back and forth, and I have no idea why that is. But it's a minor thing, doesn't really matter. So we've got now if I was to go to full impulse right now, sorry, if I was to increase my speed up right now, you'll see that my weapons are at 1300. But if I was to stop, you'll see the anchored icon appear here from the anchored personal trait, and my weapons get a little stronger, and as it stacks up 4 times, they get even stronger. There we go, 4 times it's gone up to 1600 from 1300. And if I put out the rally point marker, like a boxing ring around your ship, they should be even stronger. No? Maybe it only works when you're actually shooting them. Oh no, it gives you extra critical severity. Let's have a look at that, see if that's happened. No, it probably only works when you're actually shooting your weapons. Or when you're in combat. But still, we're going to go and destroy some Undyne ships, because I've done enough talking about the build now, and it's time we saw it in battle. I mean, this build has taken over an hour to peacefully explain. So, to go to the Undyne battle zone, if you're near the gateway, you can click on, you get this, so you can click on it and contact Undyne battle zone. You've got to be near the gateway to be able to go straight to the battle zone like this. Now what I do again is I check the loadouts, unsaved changes. So I click that again. That's my obsessive compulsiveness going on. So I've got to destroy 5 Undyne ships. So there's no point in anchoring down for that, or rally point markering. And I'm not going to do the entire battleground, I'm just going to destroy 5 ships and move on so I can get progress on these endeavours. And the easiest place to go to kill 5 is straight to the middle. I can even use my cloak if I feel like it. Starfleet with a cloak! Watch out! Looks like somebody else is doing an endeavour as well, because it's quick and easy to go here and do them. Now, one thing I find odd in this game with cloaks is you can't beam down to a planet or collect loot or activate something while cloaked, which kind of defeats the purpose of doing things stealthily. Anything will knock off your cloak. See these covert red phaser arrays? They look awesome because they're like continuous beams. That's why I like them mostly, because of the way they look and sound. Anyway, I'm not going to do any more because I've done my endeavour. I killed 5 enemy ships and restored a little bit of hull. Those covert phaser arrays, I like them because they sound like the original series phasers, except that they're red, not blue, and they're like continuous beams that stick on the enemy until the enemy's dead, or until they run out of power. Oh, look at that! I got a reward for doing nothing, basically. So, repair hull in space. In fact, I think I will stick around to get this one done. Because that was a bit lame, killing ships like that. Besides, the Dyson Sphere Battle Zone's a fun place. Now, where will I go? Got to pick one that's suitable for a Romulan Warbird. Well, I'll do this. Haven't got the turn rate to do this one, really. But what the hell? It needs doing. And I need to repair hull. So I'm thinking if I can find the right spot, like here. I mean, when you do this, you're supposed to be close to this to keep it progressing. But the chances are you'll get caught in one of these. But hopefully that player is in a faster ship than me and can stay close. Which will allow me to sit here and wait for Undyne to turn up, if they do. I mean, where the hell are they? And I'll save rally point marker for when they do turn up. There they are, rally point marker. And he's already killed them. Well, thanks for that. Oh, I don't want to destroy my anchor by moving. Did he just give me a science team? That was interesting. It's nice when a player doesn't need a heal and puts it on someone else. Actually, that might not have been science team, that might have been just his science version of this. Rally point marker doesn't last for long. And this isn't helping me repair my hull, so maybe if I take my shield off, I lose my 3-piece bonus entanglement from the quantum phase space set, but it will allow me to take hull damage. I'm not going to put out rally point marker right now, because I want to actually be hurt in order to do this endeavour, which isn't quite working out with a player that good in it. Plus I tend to spam my keybind a bit too much. This is the worst kind of play I'm doing at the moment, but you got no choice when you're trying to repair hull in space. It would be easy if I had exceeded recommended limits build on this ship, then I could damage my own hull on purpose. Hang on, I'm not going to shoot him too much because I want him to hurt me. Come on, shoot me! Oh look, hardly any damage. Oh, that's better. Now we can hit engineering team and miraculous repairs, which gets us a bit closer. Plus the captain's got to get his loot. There goes the quantum torpedoes. They make that vroom 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 sound, which is awesome, quite frankly. There's some more. Can you believe I'm just sitting here with no shield on? Yes, you can by the damage I'm taking. But that's completed the endeavour, so I can put the shield back on now. If it will let me, because you can't do it while in combat. Might as well just click that. And the shield goes back on. I think I'll wait here, now that I've done these two endeavours that can be done in this place. I think I'll wait here and help him finish that off, since... That's what I should have done. I should have just flew into these bubbles to take hull damage. I didn't even think of that. But look at those covert phasers. They sort of glue onto a target and remain there. That's why I like them, because they're not just quick little bolts or bursts of beam damage. They're long-lasting beams. Stay in range? Nope. Not enough turn rate on this thing. Right. And you can't do it while you're in a bubble. I think someone else helped. Anyway, that's my piss poor play of the battle zone for now. I want to do the Iconian TFOs now. So we will leave the battle zone. I think I'll go to the Delta Quadrant, because that's where I normally do patrols, but we'll be doing TFOs instead. That wasn't really a good demonstration of this ship, but then endeavours are you have to do what you get. We'll go into the Genolan sphere. So we've been in both spheres during this video. Got to be careful not to click when you are entering the Genolan sphere. You've got to be careful not to click the wrong pop-up, because you might find yourself in the Gamma Quadrant. So let's queue for an Iconian match. We'll start. I'm not doing Battle of Corvettes. No bloody way. That would be just silly. So, Herald Sphere, Gateway to Grepor. I'll queue them two so I can do a space one. I'll also queue Bug Hunt, because Brotherhood of the Sword rarely works out. Actually, I will queue it. I'll queue all four. I've only got to do 3, but one of them's going to have to be a a ground one. Basically because I've got to do 3 Iconian TFOs. So it's Gateway to Grep or Herald Sphere and a ground one. Because I'm not doing Corvez, because that will probably never pop unless you've got a pre-made team. And it's too difficult. I don't think I've played that much at all. Like Hive Elite. Anyway, if I'm going to do a ground one, I might as well show what I've got for ground. It's not very good because I'm not great at this sort of thing, but I've got Romulan Navy kit with a medical device, a shield bubble, a force field dome, a turret, a quick shield heal, and mines. I've got the enhanced fleet armor for the critical severity. Hang on a minute. This gives me critical chance and critical severity. I should really be using a plasma weapon to get the 20% plasma damage, but I haven't got a decent plasma weapon. And we've got the Nicole 2-piece, the shield and ground weapon, because if I go to more details you can see that it will give you more critical chance and critical severity. For my primary weapon I'm using the Delta Alliance anti-proton weapon. The reason I'm using this is because I've only recently upgraded it and I wanted just to give it a go, and it's proving pretty good. It fires like a lot of anti-proton bolts at the enemy, and it's proving to be a pretty good weapon. It's not the greatest weapon in game, but it's a nice good solid one. It's right up there with other good weapons. Gambling device, energy boosting battery, shield boosting battery, and hypos. For ground skills, mostly weapons with a bit of armor thrown in. For ground traits, I have no clue on how to do ground traits, so penetrating rounds, rifle training, ambush fighter for flanking, critical chance and exposed chance, 5% damage for the team, physical and energy resistance, that's good when you're fighting Klingons, debuff of mobs. I can't remember why I've got this. Well, probably because of lack of knowing what to put there. An orbital devastation, which turns my orbital strike into a tracking beam. More weapon damage, critical chance, critical severity, armor penetration, more armor penetration, and I don't bother changing these to the ground ones. And for ground officers, this adds knockback to my force field dome, so enemies that touch my force field dome will bounce backwards. Gives me a chance of beaming in an additional turret. Gives me a chance of beaming in an additional generator, so with my medical generator I might get a force field generator as well. Got 2 of them. to make damn sure I get it as often as possible. And EMH is a good decoy. Whenever you use a hypo, he will decoy the enemy for you. He'll run around trying to distract the enemy once you've used a hypo. So that's my ground. You've seen my ground for it's piss poor, but so we're taking a long time for these queues to pop, and we are on advanced difficulty now, whereas in the Dyson Sphere we were on normal difficulty or scaling difficulty depending on how many players were in there and what they were doing. I hope this doesn't take too long, or else I might have to edit out a bit of the video because the video's gotten pretty long as it is. We're at an hour 10 minutes already, and most of that's just been me talking about the build and doing the first two quick easy endeavours that weren't that interesting. But this should be a bit more interesting, depending on what we get. Brotherhood of the Sword usually fails, because it's hard to time the deactivation of devices with other players, especially since you can't see them, and you don't know when they're going to click the prompt to deactivate the device. Ah, here we go. Brotherhood of the Sword it is! Okay, let's see see if it fails. I usually find on ground matches, if I'm in an advanced match, the other players are usually a lot better than I am. I usually find that. Especially in this one.
Listen up.
So you get a ground match, not just a Warbird match.
Are bringing in a network of devices to subjugate Kronos.
Yeah, good for you. We'll skip that. Oh, gambling device. Let's see if I get lucky. Nope. Looks like a... No! Damn, I'm losing my shirt. That was like a lockbox. Losing money. But the good thing about it is I can hit it again in 15 seconds. So I'll hide a bit. Get out of the way of that red thing. Might as well shoot a little. I mean, they're taking a lot of the threat away from me. Right, come on, ground. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We're out of combat now. How long do we have to be out of combat for?
To disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
Looks like we've got 2 players on the devices.
The devices are resetting. Synchronize and try again. Initial, you have 15 seconds.
It's not lucky with this gambling device.
Devices simultaneously. The heralds are activating
I got a little confused there because that gambling device threw me off. I was in Arena of Sompek the other day and I got unlucky 3 times in a row. Right, let's escort these officers if we can. Although it doesn't really matter about these kind of optionals. Orbital strike. I can't go through his flank because he's right on me. Now, where are those officers? There they are. We got them.
You have 15 seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
Let's cover this guy because he's going for the device.
The heralds are activating a
Normally I go for the devices,
Proceed to that location.
but I usually tend to activate them a bit too quickly. So it's not synchronized as well. Right, do I need to let the targs out in this one? Looks like it. There we go, that's that one done. Now is there an Orion operative to sable? Yep, there is. Follow me, Mr. Orion. Come on, follow me. Don't get distracted. Down here, mate. Come on, the girls are down here. The Orion girls.
You have 15
There you go.
seconds to disable the other
Now,
two Iconian
disappear, dude.
devices simultaneously.
Come on, dude. You've got to go through there. There, he's gone. We got him.
The devices are resetting. Synchronize and try again. Initiate shutdowns at the same time. You have 15 seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
I'm having to concentrate a bit here because
The heralds are activating.
I feel like I'm letting the team down a bit
We need to move to the next area.
because I wasn't concentrating so much. Oh, that's the wrong way, and shit. Okay, then you want to die, you're going to die. I'll go and do the other bit in a minute. They started it. Leave my team in the lurch just because they started it. That's a pretty poor excuse. Right, where are the devices going to appear this time?
You have 15 seconds.
There's one right here.
The other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
Now, you stand behind it, you won't get shot. Trouble is, you don't know when to time it. Because you can't tell when the other player is going to hit their button.
Before it can
Or if
break
they
into
even
the grid.
can. Because they're probably being shot at. Right, now kill the Herald. I'm not using any of my kit powers for some reason. Okay, so let's do that. Oh crap, here we go. Put down a kit power and you get hit by one of them. Put a dome out. Give an orbital strike. Put out one of them. That was quite a good image there.
The heralds are driven back. But they shall certainly return. Chancellor Timpok remains secure.
Well, I'll take my fleet marks on this one.
Other battles.
Actually, this one went pretty well. I'll take Iconian marks. I mean, I didn't do very well, but the team actually was a good team for once. Looks like we got the optionals. And the captain's got to pick up his loot. Right, back to the Warbird. Which is what this video is about. The Warbird and the Endeavours. Yep, that Endeavour helped. 2 more to do. So it'll be either Gateway to Grepor or Herald Sphere. Let's just throw that out just for the hell of it. I'm in the boxing ring now. Any enemies want to come in here and box with me? Into my little combat zone. I claim this territory for humanity. Well, might as well get rid of me loot. And that's just materials. There's the green one, the blue one. Now we're waiting for the purple one. That was 102 Iconian marks. I would have thought I'd get more from an advanced match of Brotherhood of the Sword, especially with my daily bonus, I believe it was. Let's have a look. I did have my daily bonus up for Iconian. Yeah, I did, but I only got 102 marks. Maybe I misread it. Anyway, so Gateway and Herald. And while waiting, I've got time for a drink. Coffee, not booze. I hope it comes up quick so I don't have to edit out some of this. If it takes too long, I'll go off and do a patrol, I think. Or deep space encounter or something easy. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this ship and this build. I mean, it's good for any content other than Elite, I suppose. I mean, you might die a few times here and there, but more often you'll not die. Because it can handle most advanced content. I mean, most gold builds can these days. And both the quantum phase weapon set and space set, when combined onto a ship that uses phasers, you'll find you've got a pretty solid ship, whether upgraded or not. Because the quantum phase sets are good, really good starting points for players learning to build. Smoke a bit of my pipe while I'm waiting. I think we should exit the Genolan Sphere and look for a quick, simple thing to do while we're waiting. I can't zoom in and out. There we go. Too close to the sphere. Ah, we can assist the Ocampan freighter. This will kill some time. I'll leave this match if the TFO comes up. Oh, this one works on advanced, does it? Really? I didn't know that. So what do we do here? We collect resources from ionic clouds and assist the Ocampans. We can assist you. But you'll owe me because I'm in a Romulan ship. These things aren't free, you know. Did I mention that this was the fleet version of the Warbird? I already got the Sea Store and mastered that up the other day, and went straight for the fleet version because I've got it on a Romulan character. I was able to just reclaim both ships quite easily. I think it was free. A free reclaim. You can see that my speed and turn rate, it's not that bad for such a big ship. Whoops, I didn't even notice him there. So I put on dynamic and entanglement. I'm not bothering to anchor. Put out my point defense bombardment. Not that it's going to do much, because it's hard to time that thing to get it to do anything really good. I can fly away now and see. Nope, it died before the bombardment reached. But that's a nice explosion it puts out. Unnecessary shield heal. My shields probably would have regenerated. This doesn't feel like it's on advanced setting, although it says so right here. Bit of focused frenzy. Oh, too late. We're going into the Iconian match by the looks of things. I didn't see which one it was. I don't want to use my singularity. Put out a shield heal. Do I have to be out of combat to get into that TFO, or will it just happen? Wonder if I can get a torpedo on him. Nope. Still a couple of bits of loot. Oh, I didn't have to be out of combat. So which TFO did we get? I didn't quite see. Gateway to Grepor. I didn't really need to kill time there, did I? Oh, is that? Yeah, that's a Discovery Constitution. And a Phantom Escort, you don't normally see them these days. Who's this? A Defiant Escort? And a Scimitar. Another Romulan ship. Right. Might as well cloak, get the cloaking bonus as I go down this way, since I'm on this side. And full impulse will kill my power level, so I'll stay cloaked for a little bit while I hit my keybind. Now the power's back up, I can uncloak and let them have it. Get round behind them. Hopefully I'll get some flank. Shields are going down bad. I hit Science Team and it made no difference. Frenzy. There go the quantum torpedoes, but I didn't hear the sound. Give them a drain. And a bombardment. And an anti-time. Hit engineering team because they were putting out their probes by the looks of things. Solar gateway, get that, so energy gateway, sorry. Now we can use the singularity charge. Reverse shield polarity, miraculous repairs. Nadion inversion for a bit more firepower. He's put out his rally point marker, so I can utilise that instead of my own. Hopefully I'll stop within it. Need another miraculous repairs, put on some resistance. Rally points died, so pick up speed again. Okay, the starbase is secure. Are they in trouble over there or not, or are they doing okay? We'll cloak, so we can go past them without getting shot, hopefully. Although it did ruin my full impulse. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Now I think I'll stop here and put out my own rally point. Try and get on the big target. Nice capturing him in a little sticky web. I'm getting some okay numbers actually. Right, I'm going to go back over there, or should I stay here actually? I think I'm going to go back over there because no one else is. I just cloaked out of habit, which is odd for me because I don't normally have that habit.
The troop transports from the starbase.
Don't really have to fight in this part so much. You can just close the gateways as long as you're not at full speed when you do it. And it uncloaks you, so you can't stealthily cloak them. That's weird, because on the TV show, Romulans are doing things while cloaked all the time.
Those gateways are emitting intense levels of beta radiation. Close them.
Come on, turn in that, get in that, get in that. Drop from full impulse. From full speed. Oh, it didn't work because I was at full speed for too long. Why did I fight? You don't need to. It's just fun too sometimes.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
Well, that didn't work. I must have got too close to it. Ah, look, they all died. Despite me closing it. Sometimes that happens. Oh, gotta get some speed up now to get that closed if I can. Drop my speed again. Take the hits. Do some shooting while I'm waiting for the next one. There it is. Wonder will that person get it, or do I have to? Bit of evasive manoeuvres there. Come on, fly my pretty... Ah, I forgot to put on the speed. And somebody already got there first because I took too long. I don't blame them. I could use my singularity jump, but I keep forgetting which one of these does what. And I can't find the sweet spot to anchor in between the gates.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
That guy can be trusted to do that by the looks of things. No need to close the spawning gate because it might distract me from closing a radiation gate, which is over here if I can turn towards it enough. Nope, somebody got there first. Oh, didn't work for him. Might work for me. No. Am I out of the way? It's hard to find position sometimes. Put on my speed again. Let me charge my shields. Oh, there was a gate behind me that I'll never get to in time, so I'll leave that for that guy because he's going for it. More shield heal, and there's a radiation gate.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
Wow, we got it first time. Oh, my shields are really low. That's why I need a singularity charge, I suppose. What the hell, might as well since it's available. No point closing spawning gate. There's a radiation gate now. Drop impulse. Didn't close, I must have gone slightly out of range, I believe. This thing can take some damage by the looks of things. He says right before he blows up, probably. I hope that guy's not struggling too much. He seems to be doing well. Close radiation gate again. Auto firing as I do it. Forgetting to press my buttons. And the phase was completed before we had to close that. Even though it's still closing.
A Herald Dreadnought.
Now hopefully I can get some flanking going on here. There's the big dreadnought. Let's get behind him and decloak. Get right behind him as best as I can. Stop to anchor. Wait till I fully stop to put out my rally point marker. Point defense bombardment, focus frenzy, engineering. And time. Singularity charge. Bit of shielding. Nady on. He's disappeared, so it's time to move on. Put out Tetrion just in case. Nice, I got a torpedo spread. Oh, ooh. Anchor behind him. Put up some resistances. Rally point again. More shields, please. Miraculous repairs will give me a secondary shield. Oh, probe got me there. Turn a bit. Entanglement, forgot about that one. Put out that just in case, because it looks like I'm going to need it, and I'm dying here. Save me, Invincible. Wow, there's no Invincible left to save me. Well, it did actually, didn't it? Invincible saved me. Calling Delta reinforcements, everything I've got I'm calling in. Invincible just saved me, I believe. Am I within range? Yes, I am. Damn! Well, these things happen. I was too busy trying to show off the ship rather than actually fight the match. But still, you know how it goes with videos. Cloak. Looks like he's already been destroyed. I'm not too worried about that. I was doing quite well up to that point. Point defense right in the middle of them, hopefully. Can I stop and anchor again, even though I've learnt my lesson? That death there was not. We've lost the optional. That death there could easily have been avoided if I was concentrating a bit better. I mean, this ship is still good. It's not like it's a bad ship that failed or anything. It was more my bad piloting that failed the ship, rather than the ship failing me.
Our troops have landed. We will fight for Kronos, thanks to your assistance, Kapla.
Have the troop transports begun their run to the planet? I can't remember if you said so. Take fleet marks this time just for the bonus. 31 transports saved, that's a lot. Dreadnoughts and escorts cleared before timer. Yeah, we lost the both two optionals. But that's okay, the shipyard. One of the optionals was the other side that I wasn't on. But I'm okay with that. I'm not disappointed because of that death. I'm pretty okay with that, actually. I mean, I know I can have this ship easily survive this match now, if I just put the effort in and concentrated a bit. I mean, that death was kind of a little unfortunate, that's all. Did I take damage? No, I didn't. So let's queue for Herald Sphere then. And hopefully it'll come up quickly because this video has gotten to an hour 45 minutes so far. And I'm busting for the loo, so hopefully I'll get this done without having to pause and edit. Might as well get rid of my loot while I'm waiting. I throw away into the replicator more on this character than some of my other characters would sorely need. Okay. We just got that pink box to get, that purple box to get now. And there's a deep space encounter over there, so that will kill some time until this match is ready. Until Hellwood Sphere is ready. If I can get to it in time before it disappears. And it disappeared! There's another one down there. I'm not going to do a patrol. Yeah, I'm not disappointed in this ship because I've been playing advanced content on it since I mastered it up, and it's been handling itself very well, surprisingly well actually, with this quantum phase build. And the death in that match was just my own stupid mistake, really. I do like having the temporal shield visual on this ship, although I wish there was a visual that would make it pure white in colour, with Federation style window looks, Starfleet style windows. I mean, I'd like to modify it so it looks less Romulan, more Starfleet. Like turning a taxi into a police car. Well, that deep space encounter disappeared, as they always do. Unless you hit transwarp or quantum slipstream, you never get to them in time, which is a bit bad, quite frankly. I mean, you don't want to waste your slipstream or have to cut it halfway through in order to get to a deep space encounter. How about Borg Battlefield? That's something nice and easy to do while waiting. I wonder if I streamed these builds instead, because it's about 2 hours video normally, talking for a build like this and showing it off. If I went onto Twitch and streamed them, I wonder would I get any viewers? I don't know. There are already pretty good streamers on there that would probably get the viewers instead. So, Borg Battlefield to kill some time until Hellwood Sphere is available. Yep, I promised to assist a camp and freighter earlier, but never lived up to the promise. That's typical of the Romulans. I suppose they'll suffer a humiliating defeat just like the Romulans did at Kittimer. In here you just scan debris and fight off some enemies, that's all. Just a time killer. Should be an enemy around here somewhere. I can see it on the map. There it is. Erosion. Quantum phase beam. That comes from the 3-piece weapon set. And he's done that, so I'll boost morale to bring him out of sub-nuke. He's got me on tractor beam, so polarized hull. Might as well do an entanglement. And just dance circles around it. An advanced Hirogen. While crashing through the debris. So, on to the next one. There's already a Hirogen waiting there for me. I'll save science team if he sub-nukes me. I believe it's sub-nuke. It could be jam sensors or scramble sensors or something, but science team and boost morale allows you to see them again. Not going too fast, don't want to kill me weapons power. And we've got time to kill. Haven't got the destabilizing beam. Science team should reveal him again. Yep. Got to retarget, of course. Polarized hull because he likes it to use tractor beams. Put out point defense bombardment, though I don't think it will reach in time. Ah, singularity charge. That's interesting. Adds a wallop to your weapons. And I think the point defense bombardment got him that time. Scan large debris, use a tractor beam even though my ship hasn't got a tractor beam, download data. And on to the next one. Nice and slow to kill time and not use up any weapon power. And where is it? Where's that other bit of debris? This time I will full impulse to get over there. Defeat Hirogen. I don't know if it's always Hirogen here. It might be like our Gala system where you get different ones. Entanglement. Polarized hull for the tractor beam. This swirly thing is coming from level 63 engineering ability. Intrusive energy redirection. And I'm not looking at my shields again. So I had to use science team. See how these beams, they last a long time, which is why I like them. These covert phasers. I think you can get them on the exchange at a reasonable price. Save my singularity charge for the next mob. There they are. And hit them with it. Wreck 'em! Wreck 'em, smash 'em, sock 'em, destroy 'em. Now that's what I've noticed with this ship. When you enter warp to leave a system, the camera angle always goes inside the ship. Inside the hull. Showing that your ship is actually hollow. Your 3D model. Come on, Herald Sphere, don't keep me waiting. So, what can I do in the meantime? There's a deep space encounter there. Herogen Proving Grounds. Will I be able to get to it in time before it disappears? Without using the Slipstream? Although we haven't seen Slipstream on this yet, so what the hell? Has it gone already? Okay, deep space encounter. Wow, that's taking time to load. What if the match pops up? Well, that's loading. Deep space encounters aren't on advanced difficulty, they're extremely easy. I think they're meant for, well, when they're not in the Delta Quadrant, they're meant for new players. Give them something else to do other than just doing episodes. Or for when you just buy a ship and you want to test it out before you put any real gear on it, you just use the default gear. The Mark 10 common. But in the Delta Quadrant they're slightly more difficult but still fairly easy. They're interesting things to grind, these deep space encounters. No need to go too fast, let's just drain his shields. See his shield go down? That was overkill on that shield. Oh, it's a 2-minute cooldown, not a 5-minute one. Now that's a nice image for a screenshot right there. All those weapons going and beams firing. Now he's sub-nuked me, so I hit boost morale to bring him back. There he is. Now retarget him. And he's got me in a tractor beam, so I polarize hull so I can keep moving. So I can move better while caught in a tractor beam. I think he tried to sub-nuke me as well, but it failed because I'd recently boosted morale. It's not really about defeating the enemy at the moment, it's about just showing off the ship, take me loot, and Herald Sphere is up. No need to fight him since Herald Sphere is up. But what the hell? I'm not going to hit any of my buffs because I don't want them to be on cooldown when I'm in Herald Sphere. In fact, I believe Herald Sphere might kill me in this ship because it's a bit more intense than Gateway. And Gateway killed me through lack of concentration. I think while making videos and talking while flying a ship reduces my piloting effectiveness by about 25%. So here we are in Herald Sphere. The last one. That's a good idea, cloak. I just heard someone cloaking.
Herald forces in march.
Alright, I think we'll go over there. There's a big target there. No need to rush like everybody else seems to want to do in this game. quantum destabilizing on that big target that got pushed behind the gate. Now why am I not shooting at him? Ah, I got probed. That sounded a bit odd. The aliens probed me. There's so much loot to pick up in this match that you get distracted doing that instead of killing. You get greedy. Oh, someone's got that one. It looks like I'm with a good team, so they can carry me.
The heralds are destroyed. Get to our gateway and enter the sphere.
Ah, before I get to a gateway though, I want to see if there's any more loot to pick up. Because I am greedy for loot. All the time. Ah, it auto-entered me. Well, skip the cutscene.
Gateway opening at 1 o'clock. Gateway opening.
But it's not 1 o'clock yet, it's gone 1.
Gateway opening at 8 o'clock.
Bit of speed, bit of cloak. Go around the back of them. Buff up. Uncloak. Entangle. Wonder why I'm not firing. Didn't uncloak properly, the button failed. Or I didn't press it properly. I wonder, should I anchor here? Not with a probe there. Although it looks like it's going after someone else. Yep, stop. Got a weird glitch there. Yeah, that's a weird glitch. Why are they stationary? This is turned out easy. That was odd. I think I got a glitch there. Cloak. Go around behind the back of them, target the big one. Stop, hope I don't stop too soon. Uncloak, fire that. Put out rally point, turn. Somebody's got some DPS. Cloak. I can't anchor on this one, I don't think. Lost my target lock there, and I overshot because I forgot to turn off full impulse. So I'm going to lose on this one. Now that's the torpedo sound I like to hear. Entanglement, cease movement, put out rally point. And bombardment. Frenzy. Keep going. Dynamic might be a good time for that. Not going to waste my singularity charge on this one. It looks like that guy's got that radar. But I might as well assist. It's called teamwork. Use evasive so I don't waste my singularity charge. Anchor again. Hit big target. Engineering team because I got probed. Got probed a second time. Luckily I got probed that second time because I almost accidentally hit anti-time by mistake. Now why am I not firing? Now I am. Now that I'm out of my rally point marker. Some days. Right, get to that gateway. You've got to follow the arrow on the map. Sometimes the gateway doesn't actually show up visually, so you have to follow the arrow to find it. But this time it did show up, fortunately. Now the thing here is you've got to skip the cutscene and go to full impulse straight away, or you will die. Skip cutscene, full impulse evasive maneuvers, get out the way of dodge, and then hit. Because normally when you go through the gateway, you're right in a mob of them that might kill you. Miraculous repairs because I got nervous because I wasn't concentrating properly. Somebody's got a nice gravity well. Oh, didn't even spot that solar gateway. But I took the hit. Somebody wrecked him with a gravity well. And they're doing it again by those things. Obviously they've got that Andorian trait. Saved my singularity charge, I think, because these are getting wrecked pretty well. Actually, this time I might use it if I get there in time. Well, I'm gonna die again. I kind of mistimed it all, I think. And why did my weapon stop firing? I think there's a bug in this match. I wasn't probed when my weapon stopped. Maybe I was just running out of power. I think my keyboard's wearing out. Well, the spacebar is. Was that the last of them? Nope, there's another group. I feel like I'm with a player who really knows what they're doing. Had so many opportunities to die here. Skip the cutscene, skip it again. Hit some speed, forget about closing the gateway, just go and destroy the boss. Give him some anti-time, call in reinforcements, miraculous repairs until my rally point comes up. There we go, rally point. That should be enough. Save engineering team in case I get probed. Engineering team. Keep on shooting. Now it's hell for leather. And we got him. Will his explosion kill me? No, it didn't. Well, take some Iconian marks, look at the mission report.
The network is disabled. This will not cripple the Iconians, but it will make it easier for our ships to get into the fight.
Well, I don't seem to know what most of this means. But yeah, I think I've effectively showed this ship off. Only had that death in gateway. And came close to death a few times in this one, but and trust me when I say this ship can handle most advanced content. All you need to do is concentrate a little bit better than I have. Pay attention. But you don't have to pay attention to the point where you're reducing your fun. Oh, somebody said good game. Bit late, but what the hell. So there you have it. That's my endeavours done. Wow, this video's turned out to be a lot longer than I expected. So now we go back to the Genolan Sphere. Bit more quantum slipstream again. I wish the ship would be centered on the screen so you can take good screenshots. And when you orbit it around, you're orbiting around its central axis. Oh look, it's the Death Star. That's no moon, it's a Genolan sphere. Enter, making sure not to hit the Gamma Quadrant button. So here we are, and inventory. Cool, that's a bit of loot. R&D. That's why you should always pick up your loot, even if you're just throwing it in the replicator like me. You'll be surprised how quickly you earn energy credits and salvage. And you always get a lockbox as well, because eventually you'll be able to get your 4 million to buy a key with. Anyway, those are my endeavours done. Did I go up a point? I don't think so. And we'll see what we got. We got retrain token, 50,000 energy credits. 500,650, that's 700,000 total plus a retrain token. 850,000, 900,000 energy credits, a retrain token, 2 normal R&D packs, and a Mark Choice pack. So that's not bad day's haul for nearly 1 million energy credits. It's not a bad day's haul for endeavours. But then they were a bit longer than usual. I mean, yesterday I got my endeavours done in under 15 minutes flat. But then there were easier ones without any TFOs to do. And I normally re-roll the more difficult ones. So, a quick reminder of the build. We've got the Quantum Phase weapon set from Sunrise, the Quantum Phase space set from Stormbound, the covert phasers including an Omni, not all upgraded, Iconian warp core, console for 3 different consoles, polaric, conductive and tachyon for turn rate, phaser damage console, phaser damage 2-piece, phaser damage locators, tac ultimate, anchored and fire at will with invincible to help out and lots of turn rate, rally point marker in case I choose to use that anchored option that I've got. And I'm finding polarized hull very useful these days because I'm doing a lot of patrols and getting caught in a lot of tractor beams. And I find polarized hull, you only need it as an ensign ability and it works just fine. So that allows, if you've got a third slot, it allows you to put Science Team 3 on for a greater shield heal. And my officers, my duty officers. So there you have it. Fleet Killer Warbird battlecruiser, I think it's called. I just call it a Dideridex or Dideridex because that's basically what it is. Well, basically this is a different ship, but it can use the Dideridex skin. So in my eyes it's a Dideridex. It's actually the next generation of ship that was built after the Dideridex, I believe. But it can still use the Dideridex skin. The Dideridex is 30 years out of date, but this one is the next one that came along. You can still use its skin. Because you've got to remember, Star Trek Online is set about 30 years after the Next Generation time. About the same time as the Picard series, I would reckon. Anyway, thank you for watching. I know this video was a bit longer and a bit haphazardly performed, but please subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video if you're willing to. Give it a thumbs up, and most importantly, please give a comment, because that will guide me on what I should be doing next for next videos and stuff, so I can get a feel of what my viewers would like to see. Thanks for watching. This is Lexington saying bye. Jolantru.